everyone, and welcome to another edition of Commerce Chats. It's amazing to be here again with you all, and thank you for tuning in. For those of you that don't know who I am and what we do, my name is Krish. Commerce Chats is our regular video style podcast interview where we talk to senior professionals from all levels actually, in the commerce industry, in e-commerce, working with digital commerce. And we try to understand what they're passionate about, what they're working on, what they predict for the future, and it's for you to stay up to date with what's going on in this really dynamic industry of digital commerce and e-commerce, which covers so many different areas. Now, Commerce Chats is presented by EICOM Institute. If you don't know about EICOM Institute, visit ecom.org. Have a look at all the different educational initiatives that we have going on. We have educational initiatives from our CMX exams, our commerce certification exams. It's a 3-level exam. Our executive education programs, our online courses, our white papers, the list goes on and on. Please visit, have a look, and also reach out to me, and I can also tell you a little bit more about what it is that we do and why we do it. So today we're joined by an amazing guest, someone who I've been speaking to for quite a while, someone who is a professional in not just the company he works in now, but has been such a great professional over the past few years, over different companies that he's worked at. He's working in an area which is a little bit daunting. It's a big industry. It's quite hard to understand maybe as well. So I think one of the goals of this sort of conversation today is to break it down, is to understand a little bit more about what this area is all about. Now, before we jump into everything, why this topic? Why us? We're a global institute. What we focus on is everything that's happening at the moment, but in terms of accelerating the best practices in digital transformation, in digital commerce. And we want to communicate the insights from our community back to you. So this guest, before we introduce him, is someone who is quite fond and of our educational initiatives. It's someone who has a CMX level 2. It's someone who's taken our courses. But without further ado, let me introduce our guest. Our guest today is Guilherme Afonso. Guilherme, how are you? Guilherme, you're on mute. There we go. Perfect. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Perfect. We can hear you. How are things with you? How is everything? Technical difficulties, but that's okay. We'll get
Can you hear
Guilherme.
me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. There we go.
Oh,
There's our backstage crew working hard. So, Guilherme,
yeah.
hi, how are you?
I'm really fine. It's a really good opportunity to be here. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's talk about digital experience and how we can deliver omni-channel personalization at scale. Yeah.
Perfect. So this is it. So, Guilherme, where do you work right now? What's your background? And this topic as well. We're talking about personalization. We're talking about something that, again, as I mentioned, is a bit of a big topic. So tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about where you work and tell us about this topic.
Yeah, I'm digital experience solutions consultant at Adobe. And actually, I since my last years, I worked with customer experience solutions, delivering experience and solving problems, translating business to technology.
Okay,
And
so right, Adobe is big, right? What is, where is it that you work? Where are you in the organization?
yeah, let's talk about how I arrived here, and so you understand what I'm doing right now. So I'm graduated in mechatronics engineering, but my first experience was in technology. But actually, I started with digital transformation products, working in a consulting company in projects on the biggest telecommunication company in Brazil. And since of that, I started working with technology, but I understood the need of understand better business to use our technology to deliver values to the business. So during this process, since of that, I started studying technology and business all the time. And then I had the opportunity to work on companies like Oracle, Vitex, and now Adobe. And then what I had during this time is I could understand, I could have all that I needed to learn technology, and with the opportunities to be in touch with our customers, I could learn about the business. And since then, what I try to do is accelerate the process, and then I use some resource. Like for example, right now I'm studying a program of marketing strategy in Kellogg, and other really good source that I love so much is, for example, EICOM. I just finished the digital commerce expert course, and I will take the next level of EICOM CMX certification that helped me knows where I am and where I need to improve. And it's just a resume of what make me to arrive until here. And then now what I am doing is I working in Adobe, proving our value to our solutions of digital experience, delivering personalization, delivering customer experience, deliver all that you need during all the whole journey of the customers.
Okay, awesome. And I love this graphic that we've got up at the moment as well. So if you want to reach out to Guilherme, have a conversation with him, learn more about what he's doing, scan the QR code, connect with him on LinkedIn. We've got a couple of the previous roles and positions that you previously held as well. So this is awesome. I feel like Adobe must be quite fast moving, as all the companies are. Is it a big company? Obviously, it's huge, but how does it feel? How does it feel like to work
Yeah,
there? What's it like? What's it really like?
yeah. During my last years, I really focused me in the commerce market, in solutions and the market. And at some point, I decided that I would like to understand the whole challenge of the customer journey, and it's what Adobe does. Uh, Here at Adobe, we can deliver the whole experience. So let's take an example. Adobe just moved from selling products like Photoshop and Adobe Acrobat, and we solved our problem selling subscription digitally and solving a challenge of digital experience. Then we created our all solutions, and we solved our all solutions. Then once we had something that is proved by ourselves, we start solving the solutions of the customers. So it's for me it's the big difference of Adobe, and why make me motivated to work every day. And here I can have the whole vision of the journey of the customers. And during the session, I will able to explain everything that we need to delivery experiences at scale.
Well, that's awesome. I think thank you also as well for the kind words about ACOM Institute. It's really nice to hear that we're changing people's careers, we're improving their professional life. I would also think it may be another commerce chats in the future. I think it would be great to do a little case study or learn more about that digital subscription evolution that Adobe had over the different products that they've released over the years. But let's jump into it. I know that you've got a bit of a presentation for us. Scaling omnichannel personalization, huge topic. Let's jump into it. Please lead the way.
Yeah, so how we can scale omnichannel personalization? It's the idea today, and it's the present. You have to know that it's the present and it's the future. So it's happening right now. And just to give everyone the importance of this topic, I brought some data from an Accenture article, Life Trend 2023. And then we can see that 86% of the people felt that concerns about their data privacy is growing. And 7 days, so the most part of the people express concerns about their data, but they still want personalization. So now we need to think more about privacy. We have less data, and we need to think to work with the data that have consent to work, but we need to still delivering high level of personalization and experience. Okay, so the idea of this source is to give you the importance what we'll say today. And now I would like to talk about to build from the ground up what is personalization. And to give an example, personalization can be something really simple at the beginning. So Chris, you are in the commerce chat, or someone here is watching us, and then because I know something about you, that you are watching my webinar, and I know your email, or I can reach you in some way, I just send a message personalized. It's personalization. But I have a problem here. It can work, but it's not scalable. So we need to scale in some way. So how we can scale until have something really personal, some one-on-one. So now let's imagine that we have a lot of people here, and because these people arrived to this webinar, they gave us some data like the age, nationality, and other things. With that, we can start building the first concept of segments. Now we have demographic segments. So, for example, I can, based on where you live, I can send a different message to you, and to other people, I can send another one. So I can increase, I can scale some the personalization, and I can increase the engagement of these people. Okay.
So this is the concept of personalization, right? This isn't the application of it. It's this is the concept, what personalization actually is. Is that right?
Is that right? And it's just the beginning, but it's right. And then Krish, let's say that you didn't like my content. I would like that, but you didn't like. So you are part of this segment, but you are different from the others. And many of the people gave me feedbacks. They can click in a button, then can send me a feedback, and they like it. And then I can personalize something and send a message, or maybe impact them in a website, a web page with a different content. And now I have response-based segments. And to this person, to those people that like my content, I will, for example, offer the next best offer. And to you that didn't like, I can try to re-engage in another way.
So this is the key, right? As in your approach, once you have these two responses, to give them two bits of different pieces of information, right? Rather than just ignore the people that don't like it, respond to the people that don't like it. And I think that seems like there's some power there, right?
Right. And here we are starting working with behavior, and why this kind of segment calls response-based segments. But it's not at this moment. It of us will respond in another in a different way. So we for example, like emails. Me, I like push. Me, I use mobile during morning. You not. So we need to think about how we can differentiate it one. And the next step that we need to arrive is personalization 101. It's the kind of personalization that I love the most. So let's talk about what is this personalization 101. When we have personalization 101, we have to think about three things. It has to be individual. It has to be timely. So you expect to receive in the time different than mine, and have to be contextual, in the right place at the right time, special to you. And how we can scale that and deliver personalization at scale.
So what does that
you know?
look like? What does that personalization? Maybe I'm jumping ahead in your slides as well, Guilherme. So forgive me if I'm. But what does that look like? Personalization. I want to try and break this down, make it really practical. So is this personalization one on one? Is it an email that gets sent out to them? Is it a voucher, a discount code? What kind of use cases are there for this kind of personalization?
Yeah, actually, we will see that have to
Okay.
be omnichannel. So
Right.
we have to rate you and every channel that you have, and we have to rate you with the right content at the right moment. And you can do that. I will show you that we can do that. And
Okay.
I will give you an example of Starbucks to make it easy to understand.
Perfect.
To explain how it had to be scaled, I brought a source from Deloitte that talk about the material to have a curve of material of personalization. And when you think about the behaviors, we still in these steps, rule-based segment. So we need to scale that and think about personalization one-on-one, as I said. And then what we will do is use behavior. We will start pushing something, just talk with my customer what I will stop talking with my customer with what I want, and I will start listening them to then respond with something personalized. So here we have behaviors being orchestrated through the journey. Then, as I said, we have to deliver that in omni-channel way. What I mean that today, if I see something, I'm seeing
Mm.
something in my mobile, and I go to your website and I log in that, I have to continue my journey, you know.
Right.
And then the next step should be predictive personalization. So here we use like AI models, machine learning to help
Wow.
us individualize that and have the individual level, you
Okay,
know?
so this is awesome. I love this graphic here because I'm trying to really understand this, contextualize it, visually understand it, and actually try and make it practical as well. So one thing that I think is interesting is in that graph that you should have showed us, how do you see what my responses are? How do you see what I like, what I don't like? What
Yeah,
does that feedback look like? Because in my day-to-day journey, and I think many people watching this, when they're having, unless they work in e-commerce, of course, but if they're watching this and they don't work in e-commerce and they don't understand this, what can you see that is telling you about me? I think that's
yeah,
my question there.
it happens through events. So I will show you as well how we can have these events in a unified vision. So each of our sources have
Mm,
to trigger events, and the best way of have this is real time. Sometimes maybe some of your system cannot trigger events in real time, so I will have all the behaviors that you did in the day, and I will ingest that. I will analyze that cross with all the other sources, and then I can deliver something cross channel to you to personalize. So the best way to do that is using events in real time,
okay.
and it's possible.
What kind
And
of
it,
what kind of events in real time?
oh yeah, for example, let's think about these three examples of personalization one-on-one. We can look into Starbucks.
Nice.
Starbucks is really interesting because they can use machine learning to understand what are the best offers to you. You know, so it's on a one-on-one. And now we will see that's timely because once you is next to a Starbucks, they can send you the best offers and say, oh, why you don't buy right now to have the product in our arrival at Starbucks.
Hmm.
So um,
Okay. I've got a question for you. I think I'm being a little bit tough with you here because I feel like this is, again, a complex topic. So, in terms of an organization, how digitally mature do they have to be? Because this seems quite difficult, right? So,
yes,
what's the angle there? Is this applicable to all? Is it for the digitally mature? What do you think?
yeah. You said it's difficult. I agree with that, but with the right technologies, we can achieve that in the present, and be ready for the future. You know.
Perfect.
So what you need is at least 3 pillars to achieve that. The first pillar is data and insights. The second is journeys and decision.
Right.
And the last one, but not less important, is creative and content management. And on each of these pillars, we have at least 3 points that I believe it's really important to have when you think about this kind of technology. First one is we have to build unified profile, which means that we cannot have one kind of data being worked in silos to each of the sources, to each of the channels, and I will explain this better as well. And then we need to use this unified profile and those data to activate that and send this to our destinations. So the channels give us the data, and then we deliver this data again, now with a cross analysis. Okay? And the last one, to data insights, is insights powered by AI. So at this moment, AI is so important to have powerful insights. Then when we think about journeys and decisioning, we need to have omnichannel offers. So if I need to offer something cross-channel, I need to build my offers to be delivered in an omnichannel way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to use predictive models to deliver that to the right person at the right time. And then I need journeys. So I need to orchestrate all the channels to deliver this best offer, next best offer, or next best experience to the right channel at the right moment. And then when you think about creative and content management, we need to, if we want to hyper-personalize, we need to create content. And to create content at scale, we need to automate that. So we need to think about how we can automate that, and what are the technologies that can deliver that to me. And what I say to you is that nowadays it's already possible. And then we need, when we have a lot of content, automated content, we need to manage that, and we need to deliver and distribute that.
I love this, that you've broken this down into 3 pillars. I feel like this is a nice way to visualize, especially when we're talking about scale. But it brings me to some questions here. You talk about content automation, you talk about AI, you talk about real-time, timely activities, responses. How do you manage personalization at scale when we have so many different channels? When we've got call center, we've got website, we've got app, retail. Is it the tools? Is it the technology? What's the solution there?
Yeah, let's imagine that we have 4 channels: an e-commerce, an app mobile, a CRM, and a call center. And now you could have much more than just 4. Okay, it's just an example. But let's imagine that for each of these channels, we have each of those channels has their own data, their own definition of segments, their own definition of events. Then it happens the same with the journeys. Each of these channels has their own journey and their own offers and decisions. And then to the content, it happens the same. And I'm creating content many times, and I have a time to market really large because I have to deliver the content many times to different channels. I need to scale that. What I have to scale that, I need to break the silos. The silos.
A unified approach, I think, is instead of a siloed approach. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we have to have a cross vision, in all the levels and all the pillars.
I see.
So what we can use here to solve the problem of data insights? It's a real-time customer data platform that will orchestrate the data. We need to have an orchestrator of journey and offers to optimize that. And I need a digital experience platform, a digital DXP, to manage and deliver this content and generate that. And then what is the next step? We need to ingest this data, usually in real time. And I need to bring this data together, unify the profile of this customer, and then send this data again to my channels. And then each of this channel can be able to personalize the content.
So in an organization, when you have that data and you send it out to those channels, would it be the marketing teams that are responsible for the responses to the customers, or is that automated? Is that
We have to automate the data ingestion, but what I want to achieve is delivery power to the market team. So once I automate the ingestion and the activation of this data, the market team can use this daily with actual data.
Awesome. I also forgot to mention as well for the audience watching, if you do have some questions, I always forget to mention this. If you do have some questions, please write them in any comment section where you're watching this. Guilherme and I are going to review them in a week's time or so, and Guilherme is going to come back kindly and answer some of those questions. So, awesome. Yeah, please continue, Guilherme. I've got a lot of questions, but we'll go for it.
Yeah, sure. And then this same data have to be used by the journey orchestration. What means that it should be the same unified profile. The same unified profile should be used to the journey, and you should use the same data to take decisions and then offer these decisions to those channels. And as I said before, we need content to personalize. So the digital experience platform, the DXP, had to work together with the other levels, other pillars here. And now we broke the silos, and we can work as a platform, not as a point solution or something that is working just with a single view, not a multiple view actually.
Awesome.
And what is over here, Krish, is with the first pillar, we now have personalization individually. It's individual. With the journeys, we can achieve the requirement of be timely, and with content, we are contextual. So remember that I used the same requirements in the beginning when we will talk about personalization 101. It's
Nice.
really important.
So do you think this is I think the market and you feel very strongly about this to be the key to a success of an organization that operates
Yes,
digitally, right? It's
all these three pillars is essential to our organization that needs to achieve personalization at this moment.
And I think yeah, go ahead, please.
We have to personalize with data and privacy, and we need to manage the consent and just personalize the content nowadays with the data that we own. The data that usually we are moving from third-party data, third-party cookies, to first-party data and first-party cookies if you are bringing data from a web channel, for example, that we own.
Do you think it's getting more and more difficult with the options for the consumer to opt out of data, giving data? And how do you customize and personalize with the lack of buyer data? Is that something that's a challenge that you think is going to happen or happening?
I can say that at least last 2 years, but it started before. We have a big challenge to deliver that. We are migrating from a vision from a conception to another, and now I believe we are ready to deliver that, and we have companies doing that. And it's a different approach, but what is happening is that we have personalization that is much more personalized in the correct way. So actually, when we work with first-party data, I can deliver real personalization 101, and I stopped working with the data that was easy, like third-party data. And with third-party data, I just could do a lookalike, and then because you have a behavior similar than mine, so I deliver the same personalization to both of us. Now it's maybe we have to work better to build these pillars, but then we can have much better results.
Interesting. I feel like, did you have any more slides as well, Guilherme, to show us?
Yeah.
Perfect. I was going to ask you about this actually. What do you think we should do to keep the customer at the center of everything? Because it seems from everything you've shown, it doesn't work without the customer, right? So please go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to share an article, a public article that talk about personalization at scale, and you can find a lot of tips to achieve that, and the best practice that we should take care to achieve that. The first one is we need to have a deep understanding of our own data through an omnichannel vision. So we cannot just have an analytics that just look into web data. We need to analyze in real time the data cross-channel. We need to scale our content to create once and deliver everywhere. So we need to scale the content delivery and creation. We need to, as we saw, we need to break the silos with the right technology, moving traditional and new channels to a new vision and work with them consistently. And we need to create a single definition of profile segments and offers for all our channels. The last one, but not important, in the point 3, I said that we need the right technology and break the silos, but we need to break the silos of our organizations. So we need to move traditional organization structure that is adjusting, think about one channel, and we need to start working now on operation model across the channels. So the way of work is different.
This is key because I feel like this goes beyond personalization, even though it's so linked. It's about business management, it's about business models, it's about employee management, it's about all these different things. Do you feel like you have a relationship with a company's like hierarchical structure, organizational? It feels like it's very linked to that as well, to break the norm, the traditional way of working.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You need to think about move the technology and rebuild your ecosystem. But if you don't have people working in the same operation model of what we are building as architecture, it will not going to work. We need to move all together. And organization structure can start moving before the technology, because in the period that you are thinking what do you acquire to solve the problem, you can start moving your organization.
That's awesome. I feel like as we draw to a close of this webinar, there's so many thoughts going through my head about how we can actually do this. I think, we can definitely reach out to people like yourself if we're in an e-commerce organization and understand more about how we're able to implement these tools and technologies to make this really practical. Awesome. You've got some resources there. Could you tell us about these? What are these? These look great.
Sure. Yeah, I just just giving you some resources that it help you to understand more about all the concepts we talk about today. The first one is a content in Portuguese. Is an MIT review, a video cast with Luciana Castro, that is my manager, that talk about CDP. The second one that's talk about the same subject but is in English is an MIT review in partnership with Adobe. And the last one is a community that we have that's multi-language. So in the last one, we will find a lot of content about this subject with different languages too.
Awesome. Thank you. That's awesome. I do have a question actually, just as we draw to a close. I've been speaking to a few people in the coming weeks while we've been doing this, and I have two questions. I think we've got time anyway to answer these. So, how do you respect user data in terms of an organization, someone dealing with data? Do you find it difficult? Is it a very difficult topic to talk about? Or
Yeah, it's not difficult. What is difficult right now is that we have many data being managed by different channels, and we don't have a standard layer that can work and can have governance to manage that. So once you start working the working with this vision cross channel of the data, it will be easy to manage the consents according what is the truth. Yeah, it's difficult right now because these silos that we talked about.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's a revolving thing, right? You need everyone not working in silos, everyone communicating effectively. I had another question as well, and again, audience, please write some questions in if you want to in the comment box, and we can get back to you. Which is, where do you see personalization going in the next few years? Maybe 5 years. Do you see any crazy trends? Anything? Any Guilherme's predictions for the future? We won't hold you to that, but like, what do you think is AI?
Yeah,
I guess, but I don't want to.
yeah, AI, everyone right now we say AI, in me too, me neither, because it's a trend right now, and
Hmm.
actually, it's already occurring. We
Yes.
already use AI to do that, and right now, what, for example, ChatGPT is doing is create a community. So once I have many people being in touch with that, in the next months, next years, I have a lot of good professionals working with that, building a better community, so it will be easier to work with this kind of technology. So yeah, I believe many of our personalization will be driven by AI, but I don't believe that our job as marketers, or as engineers, as solutions consultants, will be different. Actually, it will be more one tool that you need to learn to achieve a new level of personalization.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's always going to be the place, of course, for people to make it simple for people to understand. And, AI is a tool that we can use to really empower personalization at scale and personalization generally. But I can keep talking about this subject actually because I think it's fascinating. But we have to draw to a close. I think Guilherme as well, I'd like to open this up to the audience. Please connect with Guilherme, have a conversation with him, see what's going on in the world of personalization, see what kind of technologies and tools Adobe has at the moment. I think that's interesting, regardless of your organization size. These rules apply, and these best practices, sorry, apply to all e-commerce organizations. So that's the LinkedIn there for Guilherme if anyone wants to pause it and give it a scan. Guilherme, thank you. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time. And thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, your team, and the audience here. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thanks, audience. Speak to you soon. See you at the next Commerce Chats.